In this video, I have explained the characteristics of a data streams by considering the three attributes for characterizing and data streams, and those attributes are synchronous, asynchronous and isochronous mode, which we consider for the data transmission. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, gain the knowledge and rule the world. Characterizing data streams, distributed network multimedia systems will be transmitting both kinds of data streams. That means it can be a discrete as well as it can be a continuous media stream. And we use the distributed network especially for the purpose of exchanging the information. So here in case of a multimedia systems, that is in case of a distributed network multimedia systems, we'll be exchanging the information both in the discrete as well as in the continuous media streams. In a digital system, the information is split into an units. It is known as in packets before it is transmitted. It means before transmitting the data streams, it will be split into units, and that units is called as in packets. These packets are sent by one system component and it is received by another system component. The system component which will be sending the packets is known as a source, and the system component which will be receiving the packets is called as a sink. It is also called as a destination, and it is also called as a receiver. It is called as a destination, sink as well as a receiver. The system component which will be transmitting the packets is called as a source, and which will be receiving the packets is called as a destination or a sink, and it is also called as a receiver. This source and sink can reside on a different computers, or even they can be on the same system also. A data stream will be consisting of a sequence of packets, and these sequence of packets will be a temporal sequence of a packet. This means that it has a time component as well as it will be having a lifetime. It will be having a time component and a lifetime. Packets will be carrying an information, and that information can be a continuous media and it can be a discrete media. As an example for a continuous media will be the transmission of a voice in case of a telephone system. An example of a discrete media will be a text file which we are going to send. It means when we transmit a text file, it is an example of a discrete media. When we have a conversation in a telephone, it is an example of a continuous media. When we transmit information originating from a various sources, that means it will be from a various media, we obtain data streams that have very different characteristics, because each of the media will be having its own characteristics. Since we are getting a media from various sources, therefore the characteristics will also be different. Whatever the data which we are going to transmit in case of a telecommunication system can be traditionally classified into three types. That is, the characteristics of a data transmission in case of a telecommunication can be classified into three types, and it is called as an attributes, and those attributes are asynchronous, synchronous and isochronous. Asynchronous, synchronous and isochronous, these are the traditionally used attributes in the field of telecommunication to describe the characteristics of an data transmission. We shall study these attributes one by one. Synchronous transmission mode. In the broadest sense of a term, a communication is called as an asynchronous communication if the sender and the receiver do not need to coordinate before the data can be transmitted. That means while transmitting a data, the sender and the receiver will be not having any coordination. Such a kind of an communication is called as an asynchronous transmission. In case of an asynchronous transmission, the transmission may start at any given instant, but the receiver will not be having the coordination with the sender. The bit synchronization that determines the start of an each bit is provided by two independent clocks, one at the sender and other at the receiver. The bit synchronization which will be determining the start of an each bit will be provided by two independent clocks. One is at the sender and other at the receiver. An example for an asynchronous transmission is the way in which the simple ASCII terminals are usually attached to the host computers. That means in a computer, when we are going to type, whatever the letters you are going to press, each of the letter as well as the symbol as well as the number will be having a specific ASCII code. So each time the character, for example A, is pressed, a sequence of bits is generated at a preset speed. So usually an ASCII terminals, whenever we are going to press, for example character A, it will be converted into 8 bits, and these 8 bits will be sent as a sequence of bits at a preset speed to inform the computer interface that a character is arriving. A special signal called start signal, which is not necessarily a bit, precedes the information bits. That means a special bit will be generated and that bit is called as a start signal, and it is not necessary that an information bits, whatever is there, that information bit will be preceded by this start signal. Right? There is no any rule that the start signal should be first before the information bits. Likewise, another signal will also be transferred, and that signal is called as a start stop signal, and which will be follows the last information bit. This is an example of an asynchronous transmission, because whenever a user presses a key, it will not be known to the monitor that a key has been pressed. That means there will be no coordination between the sender as well as the receiver. Only when a key has been pressed, it will be converted into an bits, and that bit will be having two additional signals, and necessarily it will be a bit, and this bit, one will be a start signal, another one will be a stop signal, and necessarily a start signal is not a bit which precedes the information bits, but it will be along with the information bits, whereas the stop signal whatever is there, and that will be following the last information bit. Next one is synchronous transmission mode. In case of a synchronous transmission, the beginning of a transmission may only take place at a well-defined times, matching a clocking signal that runs the synchronization with that of a receiver. That means in case of a synchronous transmission mode, there will be a coordination between the source as well as the destination. Between the source as well as the destination, the beginning of a transmission may only take place at a well-defined times and matching a clocking signal that runs the synchronization with that of a receiver. It means the sender as well as a receiver, or a source and the destination, will be having a matching clock signal. Based upon that, a synchronization will be created among them. To see why a clocked transmission is important, consider what might happen to a digitalized voice signal when it is transferred across a non-synchronized network. Example might be a telephone network. So when it is not a synchronized network, as a more traffic enters the network, the transmission of a given signal may experience increased delay. That means whatever the data which we are going to pass, that will be delayed because of the traffic in the network. Thus what happens, a data stream which will be moving across a network might slow down temporarily when other traffic enters the network, and then speed up again when the traffic subsides. That means a data stream we have sent, but because of the network traffic, it will be temporarily delayed. It will be temporarily delayed just by moving slow. It means a slowdown temporarily of an data stream will be caused because of the network traffic. When that particular network traffic becomes less, that means when the traffic becomes considerably less, then what happens, the data stream will now speed up again and it will be moved. Because of an traffic, what happens, the data stream will be slowed down. When the traffic considerably comes down, then the speed of the signal of a data stream will be speeded up. If the audio from a digitized phone is delayed, however, the human listening to a call will hear the delay as unknowing interference or a noise. As an example, when we make a phone call, when we'll be having a conversation with one another, if the audio which we speak has been delayed, then what happens, the person to whom you have been talking, they will experience the delay of the signal, that is whatever we have told or communicated by through phone, that will be delayed as an unknowing interference or a noise. Once the receiver starts to play digitalized samples that arise, the receiver cannot speed up the playback to catch up with the rest of the stream. That means here the delay has been caused. After that, the next whatever we are going to speak, all those things will be sent at the receiver. Then what happens, the receiver will not be able to catch up everything we have spoken before the delay and after the delay. All will be mixed up, so the receiver cannot catch up with the rest of the stream. For that purpose, in case of an synchronous transmission mode, there should be an network, and that network should be a synchronized network. That means there should be a coordination between the receiver as well as the sender, the source as well as the destination. Next one is isochronous transmission mode. The term isochronous refer to the periodic signal pertaining to the transmission in which the time interval separating any two corresponding transition is equal to the unit interval or to a multiple of unit interval. That means in case of an isochronous, whatever the periodic signal is there, when transmitting, the time interval between those periodic signal will be equal to the unit interval, or it will be equal to the multiple of an unit interval. Secondly, it refers to a data transmission in which corresponding significant instance of two or more sequential signals will be having a constant phase relationship. While transmitting and data, the data will be moving in a phase, and that phase will be constant for signal which we are going to send. The data transmission in which the corresponding significant instance of two or more sequential signals, whatever is there, those two or more sequential signals will be having a constant phase relationship. The phase of one signal will not be different from a phase of another signal. You may consider two signals or more than two signals. All those signals should have a constant phase relationship. That means the phase of the signal should be same. This mode is a form of a data transmission in which the individual characters are only separated by a whole number of a bit length intervals. It means in case of an isochronous transmission mode, whatever the individual characters you are going to transmit, those individual characters will be separated by a whole number of bit length intervals. Whereas in case of an asynchronous transmission, the characters may be separated by a random length intervals. In case of an isochronous, the characters will be separated by a whole number of an bit, and that will be of an equal length intervals. Whereas in case of an asynchronous transmission, the characters will be separated, whereas this separation will be not an whole number, it will be a random number, and that random number will be of a different length. Random in the sense each time it will be generating a different number. For that purpose, the length of an intervals will be a random. That means it will be having a different time intervals, whereas in case of an isochronous, it will be of an bit length intervals, and that bit length intervals will be of an same, and it will be a whole number. For example, an end-to-end network connection is said to be an isochronous if the bit rate over the connection is guaranteed, and if the value of a delay jitter is also guaranteed and small. That means the transmission from source to the destination, that is the data transmission from source to the destination, is guaranteed, and if at all any delay occurs, that delay will be jittered, and it also guarantees that that delay will be small. Such a kind of an network connection is said to be an isochronous network connection. These three attributes, that is asynchronous, synchronous and isochronous, are a simplified classification of different types of data stream. In the next video, we shall have the other discussions with respect to the various kinds of data streams and other key properties which we need to consider while characterizing and data streams. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, gain the knowledge and rule the world.